All right. Welcome to the program. Middays, Midlife in the Midwest. Brought to you by Living Life and Style Travel. You can get all of your personal business and leisure vacation needs booked with Living Life and Style Travel. They are your personal travel customer service representative. You don't have to bother with the agencies. You don't have to bother with, the 1-800 customer support numbers. Call direct to Live in Life and Style Travel at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. Or you can find them on the web at www.livinlifeandstyle.com. That's LIVINLIFENSTYLE.com. Dun, dun, dun. So, I had a client call in yesterday. I had sent her a few quotes and she was unsure. And it was really weird. And this is just kind of how it goes. So she had requested a few different sailings and she wanted some information on them. And so I prepared that information. But one of the sailings ended up, she wants only balconies. So one of the sailings ends up, and it only had one balcony and she's getting two balconies. And so the sailing wouldn't work. And then after I'd sent her the quotes and I let her know that one sailing just didn't have two balconies available, she emails me back late at night and she's like, well, I just checked the site again and it says there are, enough balconies available. And so sure enough, I go back and I look again and two balconies are available. So I was able to put them on hold for her. And then another cruise that she was looking at, she's trying to decide between the two based on dates and itineraries. So I was able to put holds on rooms for her for both of those dates so that she'll be able to decide between the two and get the room she wants and the sailing she wants. So good for her. I'm happy for her. All right. So something else to talk about as it relates to booking travel. Something that every traveler really needs to pay attention to. I'm sure they don't generally think about it, and they generally probably don't want to think about it. But it is something we all have to deal with, and that is travel advisories from our local governments. So, this article comes from Travel and Tour World. And headline: Mexico, Jamaica, Colombia, Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas are under U.S. new travel advisories. This came out 2 days ago. 2 days ago, 1 day ago. 1 day ago. Came out yesterday. So, with the spring break coming up here in the next few weeks, and summer vacations not far behind that, booking travel to warm destinations with pretty beaches and crystal blue waters are very popular things to do, because I will be doing the same this summer. However, there are things to be aware of that it's important to be aware of. It shouldn't necessarily scare you off of your travel. It just means you need to be aware of these things so that you you're a smart traveler and you're smart about what you do. Okay. So let's get into it. Reports suggested that several of the most frequented spring break destinations across Latin America and the Caribbean had been placed under strict U.S. travel advisories, warning travelers about crime, civil unrest, and other safety risks. These advisories, which ranged from level 3, reconsider, which means to reconsider travel, to level 4, which means do not travel, were said to have been issued due to increasing concerns over gang violence, kidnappings, political instability, and even potential terrorist activities in certain regions. The reports indicated that American students and vacationers searching for warm weather escapes during spring break often flocked to destinations renowned for their beaches, nightlife, and cultural experiences. However, the rising security concerns in some of these locations had left officials to urge travelers to exercise increased caution when choosing their holiday spots. Why certain destinations are under travel advisories. According to reports, U.S. travel advisories were based on various factors, including crime rates, political unrest, and the availability of emergency services. The most common risks for tourists were said to include violent crime. Armed robberies, sexual assaults, and homicides had reportedly been recorded in countries such as Jamaica, Mexico, and Colombia. Kidnapping threats. Certain regions in Mexico and Colombia were said to be particularly dangerous for foreign nationals as tourists had reportedly been targeted for ransom or political leverage. Civil unrest. Public demonstrations, protests, and strikes in Nicaragua and Venezuela were said to pose potential risks to travelers. And limited healthcare services. In some of these destinations, it was indicated that emergency medical care was either difficult to access or completely inadequate. So, despite these risks, some tourists reportedly continued to visit these countries, often unaware of the latest advisories. The warnings highlighted the importance of thorough trip planning and emphasized the need for travelers to stay informed about safety conditions before finalizing their spring break itineraries. So, which warm weather destinations are under advisory? The reports indicated that several top rated spring break destinations had been flagged level 3 or level 4 travel advisories as of February 2025. Mexico. Mexico, widely regarded as a premier spring break destination. Mexico was said to remain a favorite among American students due to its beaches, nightlife, and cultural attractions. Locations such as Cancun and Puerto Penasco were believed to continue drawing large crowds, benefiting from warm weather and minimal rainfall during the spring season. The travel advisory. While Cancun and Puerto Penasco remained under a level 2 advisory, which means exercise increased caution, certain areas such as Tijuana and had been placed under higher risk categories due to crime and the threat of kidnappings. Tourists had reportedly been urged to avoid non essential travel to these high risk zones. So, a lot of the spring break destinations are going to be fine, even if they have some level of travel advisory. It's an advisory. It's meant to make, bring your awareness to it and make sure you exercise the appropriate amount of caution when you travel to these places. Jamaica. The reports suggested that Jamaica had remained a sought after spring break destination, offering travelers a mix of relaxing beach getaways and vibrant cultural experiences. From Negril's 7 Mile Beach to Ocho Rios waterfalls, the country was said to provide a rich blend of adventure and leisure. The travel advisory. The U.S. government had reportedly issued a level 3 advisory for Jamaica, citing high crime rates, armed robberies, and home invasions as significant risks. Officials had urged travelers to reconsider travel, particularly in the urban areas where crime rates had been reported to be especially high. Look, man, crime rates are high in Chicago too, right? Crime rates are high in New York City. They're high in Los Angeles. Hell, they're probably high here in Kansas City too. That's just the way it is in big cities. Um, they're just like I said, it's an advisory. It's meant for you for the information to make you aware of what's going on, not necessarily to scare you away from your travel. A lot of these times you're going to be at a very nice resort and you might not even ever leave the resort. I mean, if that's the case, then you have very little to worry about in those circumstances. It's just important to be a smart traveler. Colombia. As a destination offering a mix of beaches, vibrant colonial cities, and a rich cultural scene, Colombia had been reported to attract a growing number of spring breakers each year. Tourists were said to favor Cartagena and Medellin, with some opting to explore the country's diverse landscapes and nightlife scenes. The Travel Advisory. Despite its growing popularity, many regions in Colombia had been placed under level 3 or level 4 travel advisories due to high crime rates and the presence of terrorist groups. While major tourist areas were reportedly safer, visitors were encouraged to stay informed about high risk locations and avoid certain areas altogether. The Dominican Republic. Known for its coastlines, all inclusive resorts, and cultural attractions, the Dominican Republic had reportedly remained a top choice for sun seekers. Activities such as merengue and bachata dance lessons, water sports, and historic city tours were said to be among the experiences drawing tourists to the country. The Travel Advisory. Though still considered a popular destination, reports suggested that specific neighborhoods in Santo Domingo had been flagged for higher crime rates, with officials advising travelers to avoid these areas whenever possible. All right, so the impact of on the travel advisory of these, on the travel industry of these travel advisories, the rising number of advisories affecting popular spring break destinations had been expected to create ripples throughout the travel industry. Airlines and tour operators might adjust itineraries. This is, how will the industry respond? Airlines and tour operators might adjust itineraries or introduce alternative destinations in response to safety concerns. Travel insurance companies could see increase in demand for comprehensive coverage that includes triple cancellations and emergency medical support. Resorts and hotels in lower risk areas might experience a surge in bookings as travelers seek safer options. Shifts in travel behavior. It had been suggested that some spring breakers might choose domestic alternatives, opting for Florida, California, or Texas beaches instead of international destinations under advisories. Others might adjust their itineraries, selecting safer regions within the flagged countries rather than canceling their trips altogether. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, had to sneeze. That was terrible. Ooh. How to stay safe while traveling to high risk destinations. Despite the warnings, reports indicated that some travelers still plan to visit these locations. Experts had reportedly advised tourists to take precautions to minimize potential risks. Register with the U.S. Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, STEP, to receive real time security updates. Choose safer areas within the high risk countries and avoid regions flagged for criminal activity. Travel in groups and avoid venturing out alone, especially late at night. Use reputable hotels, transportation, and tour operators to enhance your safety. That's the big thing, man. If you're using well-known organizations, well-known, resorts, cruise operators, tour providers, if you're on a cruise and you go into a destination, if you're using the cruise providers, excursions, and tour providers, you're going to be just fine. If you use um, a high quality tour operator like Viator, you're going to be just fine. You still have to stay out of the danger areas, without a doubt. You have to stay out of those zones, but it doesn't mean your whole, just because there's high crime in a certain area of a certain city, doesn't mean you can't go. It'd be like saying I can't go to any American city just because there's crime there. It's like, yeah, we know there's crime. It happens. But it is important to stay vigilant. Remain vigilant and avoid displaying your valuables. Don't be dumb. Carry carry large amounts of cash. Don't be dumb. That's basically the rule here. Don't be dumb. All right, looking ahead. With spring break travel increasing and advisories affecting several major destinations, industry experts were expected to monitor the impact of these warnings on tourism trends. Whether travelers chose alternative destinations or took extra precautions when visiting high risk areas, these advisories were likely to shape how spring break travel evolved in 2025 and beyond. As the travel industry navigated safely, as the travel industry navigated safety concerns, government agencies, airlines, and tourism boards were expected to collaborate on promoting responsible travel while ensuring tourist safety. The response to these warnings could ultimately influence long-term perceptions of these destinations and how they adapted to maintain their place in the global tourism market. Look, man, these suppliers, these agencies, they are not they're not going to, like, they're not interested in having bad things happen to their guests. You're their customer. And travel advisories are things that they take very seriously. So, the suppliers, the resorts, the cruise lines, the tour operators, all these people, they have a very vested interest in making sure that your trip is safe. So if you stick with reputable trip providers and tour operators and all the rest, if you stick with reputable ones, you're going to be just fine, because a reputable tour operator will cancel a tour or change the tour to a different itinerary where you go to different areas if there is a severe risk of danger to their clients. They're not interested in you getting mugged. It's bad for business. At the end of the day, all of these travel things are a business. So anyway, that's what it is. A lot of the the areas in the Caribbean. And something else to remember on travel advisories: there is a level of politics involved in a lot of these travel advisories. So there's a little bit of tit for tat amongst the politicians and whatnot, with these travel advisories. Uh, you know, one, like the scuttlebutt between the United States and Canada, and Canada turns around and starts putting travel advisories on U.S. cities. And I have no doubt that America's done the same. So I'm sure Mexico has done the same. All of them, everybody. There's some degree of politics that is involved with a lot of these travel advisories. That can't be ignored. It also doesn't mean that they're not valid. At the end of the day, it's smart for you as a traveler, as a vacationer, to be smart. Don't go into places you don't know, right? Make sure you have a guide, a tour operator, something going on if you're going to places you're not familiar with. Don't ever venture out alone, especially if you're a woman. Not in foreign cities that you're unfamiliar with. Use the buddy system. It's always important. Okay, that's all I've got on that. So I want to talk about something a little happier. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Something a little happier, and this is why. Hey, Culver's guy, we don't want you on my screen. Stay off my screen, Culver's guy. Why arriving a day early to your cruise port could save your entire vacation. I love islands.com. I've been using them a lot, and I really enjoy their articles. I'm sure Jenna has a fantastic article here that she released yesterday, and we're going to read it in just a minute. But I need to impress upon you why. I just want to put this out there at the very beginning. Why would arriving a day early to your cruise port, why could it save your entire vacation? Because if you're going to rely on an airline to get you to the location the day of the cruise, there is a good chance you will miss your cruise. Period. I mean, that could I'm interested to see what else Jenna has to say. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, that's why. That's why we do it. So let's see what Jenna has to say here. Taking a cruise involves some planning, like deciding what to pack, whether to choose an inside cabin or one with a balcony, and getting to your departure city on time. That last one might seem straightforward, but you may want to consider getting there at least a day early if you don't want to have your cruise vacation potentially ruined. Sure, there is an extra cost involved if you stay overnight, but there are some really good reasons to do it anyway. Many cruises depart from their port in the afternoon, so if you're trying to save money, you may choose to drive or fly in early in the morning, even taking a red eye to do so. However, if there are any delays, whether it's because of weather or you miss the flight, you're out of luck. The ship isn't going to wait for you, and the boarding cutoff time may be more than an hour before the actual departure time. You cannot just run right up on a cruise ship at the last minute and say, hey, I got my ticket, let me on board. That is not how this works. Not at all. Another issue that may come up is your luggage not arriving at the same time you do. If you have an extra day, you have time to report it missing and to get back to the airport when it shows up. If it doesn't make it, you also have time to replace your items before the ship leaves if you have an extra day in the port city, so you don't have to do so on the ship where prices may be higher, not may be higher, will be exponentially higher. The high prices on cruise ships are ridiculous until like the last 2 days of the cruise. Then everything goes on sale. Fire sale. Yeah, that's how it works. Why should you arrive a day early for your cruise? We just kind of covered a lot of that, but let's go over some more ideas. It's a good idea to look into weather conditions across the country before you book your port city flight. If you're flying in the winter, for instance, a snowstorm in the middle of the country can affect you even if you're flying from Los Angeles to Florida. If you're flying overseas or taking a really long flight, you may even want to give yourself another day. First, you can spend a little time exploring the city your ship is leaving from and make that part of your vacation. Second, it can give you some time to get over your jet lag. You can actually use jet lag to your advantage before the cruise by tiring yourself out all day if you land early for a good night's sleep, or sleep in as much as you can the next morning if you land at night. Basically, yeah, jet lag's a thing. Jet lag is totally a thing. And if you get there early, you can have a day to decompress from travel day. I call that travel day. Travel day on the front end, travel day on the back end. It's just a whole day. We've been discussing whether or not we're going to take a train or take a flight out to our cruise in Los Angeles in June. I think we're going to end up just doing flights round trip, but one of the considerations was taking a train. And they're like, well, doesn't that take a lot longer? I'm like, well, I already have a travel day, right? I mean, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to pack all my stuff up. We're going to go to the airport. I'm going to have to go through security. We're going to have to sit in the airport and then board. And then we're going to fly. Then we're going to get home. Then I got to go to the luggage area and get my bags off the belt. Then, get in the car, go back to our, drive all the way home. It's a whole day, right? If we took the train ride to Los Angeles from Kansas City is like 36 hours, I think, right around that. Which is more than a day, granted, right? And I got to do all the same stuff. Got to pack up my stuff, drive to the train station, get on the train, but you don't have to spend all that time through security, for starters, on the train. Get off the train, hop in the car, drive home. Hey, the train station is much closer to my house than the airport. So that's one that saves. But, at the end of the day, it's a travel day, right? 24 hours basically. And the train ride's 36. So it's like 8 more hours. It's 8 more hours. It's not that much. Because your day's totally wasted. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you fly or if you drive, or if it does matter if you drive. Driving's usually, driving to Los Angeles would probably take 45 hours. That's too much. But with a train, I don't have to have the stress of doing the driving. And so it makes it easier. It's not as long. Anyway, point being, travel day is a whole day. And when you've gotten done with your travel day, you're wiped out. You're just spent, and you just need to decompress. You're not going to jump right on a cruise ship and just go right into partying if you've been traveling all day. It's just actual and factual. That's how it goes. So, of course, the extra cost may be prohibitive, But you can save money while actually on the cruise by planning your own excursions on shore. Even things like booking a spa treatment on shore rather than doing it on the ship itself can help. Typically, a cruise ship isn't going to give you a refund if you miss the departure, so the extra money you spend on a hotel for the night is cheaper than being out the cost of the cruise when you're left on dock. Yeah, no, the cruise line, you missed the boat, you missed the boat. There's no refunds. There is no refunds. The extra 120 or let's not go to a $120 hotel room, okay? The extra $200 on a hotel room is going to be well worth not missing your boat and losing out on a $5,000 cruise, right? You just spent $5,000 to go on a cruise and you want to cheapskate it over a $200 hotel room? Are you serious? I mean, it's less than 5% of the cost of your trip. And you're going to risk blowing, not getting on the boat because you didn't want to spend money on a $200. If you can't spend money on a $200 hotel room to make sure you get on the boat in time, then you probably shouldn't be taking a $5,000 cruise. That's just facts. Da, 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 da. You definitely don't want to be left on the dock. You definitely do not want to be left on the dock. Oh, what a horrible thing. What a horrible thing. All right. Well, I ended up having time for one more article. One more article. Where did it go? Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. Let's share this one. I kind of made it through these articles pretty quick today. Usually I only make through about 2. I put in a whole damn hour. Okay. Now. This one's from the Rob Report. Okay, I love when we see things. Okay, so there's this video that's gone around. You'd have to look it up. It's on YouTube. I know you can probably find it most places. You watch videos online, but it's this video of these kids from Britain, and this isn't the only one, but the one I've seen was where they were first introduced to having what's it called? Biscuits and gravy. These British kids had never heard of biscuits and gravy and or anything else. And when they look at it, they're like, "Oh my God, this is disgusting. Look at this. This is nasty. We have to eat this? Really? Oh." And then they eat it, and it's like, "This is the best stuff ever." And I just think that's so funny. I love it when we see, like, especially Europeans, because they're the quote unquote old world, right? So they've been around longer than us young brash Americans, and they have this big brother complex, in their minds about, the society they grew up in versus, the younger American society that we grew up in. And I find it funny when Europeans find the value in stuff that Americans have created. So that brings me to this article: heated seats, clubby bars, and gourmet food. How UK soccer stadiums embraced American-style luxury. British stadiums are rolling out match day amenities like ultra luxury lounges and fine dining restaurants. This is by Abby Montanez. And yeah, I don't know how often you've got, if you go to American sports at the stadiums. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, so if I go to sports, it's probably going to be a baseball game. I love football too, but football's too expensive, so I don't go to football games. But I go to baseball games, and when I was a kid at the baseball game, man, you had a selection. Here's your selection: a soda and a really giant cup. Right? You had that option. You could get a hot dog. You could get cheap ass nachos that were just chips with that really bad cheese sauce in a cup. And this was in a major league stadium when I was a kid, right? You could possibly get a hamburger, right? Sometimes, or at different spots within the stadium, the hot dog vendor might also have Polish sausage or bratwurst. And then I think by the time I was a teenager, like they might have introduced like a pizza by the slice vendor. Oh, you could get popcorn, you could get a pretzel, you know, you could get, candy and gum or whatever. Now you go to Kaufman here, the local stadium here for the Kansas City Royals. You go to Kaufman, you can get like my brother last year when we went to a game, he got this giant helmet full of chili cheese fries with like 1,000 toppings on it, bacon bits, everything. It was a damn meal, right? I ain't even lying. You can get, they have a full blown brewery restaurant in one section with great views of the game. You have waitresses and everything else bringing you out your food. I mean, they've really stepped up the food game at stadiums, right? I mean, it makes for a legitimate date night damn near because the food's so good. It's crazy. But I can't say I don't like it. I love it. That's great. I got to go to more Royals games this year too, by the way. That's definitely a thing that needs to happen. So, in the UK, they've started to find out about what we are doing over here in American sports stadiums. So, soccer stadiums in the UK are kicking it up a notch. A transformation in English football is underway. Football, that's what, okay, Americans, hey, this is a British article talking about British things or English things in this matter. If they say football, they mean soccer. Just for those, for the uninitiated. So, a transformation in English football is underway, mirroring the lavish perks at American sports venues, Bloomberg reported. For example, with tickets starting at £1,200, which is almost $1,500 per season, fans in Everton FC's Clubview Lounge get to mingle with former players while sipping on premium drinks and savoring gourmet food. For an even more exclusive experience, the 4-seat enclosure on level 1 comes with recliners, personal TVs, and a concierge service, though it is already sold out, so you cannot join. The shift toward luxury marks a departure from the traditional blue-collar beginnings of English football. However, soaring player salaries and transfer fees are forcing clubs to innovate and rely on match day revenue to remain competitive by creating high-end premium experiences for deep-pocketed fans. The U.S. sports hospitality market has been traditionally much more driven by more activity going on off-site. In England and wider Europe, it is more driven by the on-site seat quality, traditionally with less access to players. Paul Kane, president of On Location and IMG Events, a company responsible for organizing hospitality at major sports events or major sports tournaments such as the FIFA World Cup and the Olympics. He was, as he explained to Bloomberg, teams like Aston Villa FC and Tottenham Hotspur, I think it's how you say it, Tottenham. I think it's Tottenham Hotspur FC offer ticket tiers ranging from modest to ultra exclusive, catering to fans willing to pay for the ultimate match day experience. At Chelsea FC, the top tier ticket holders can even access a dugout area and walk onto the pitch during warm-ups, with prices reaching £12,500, which is the equivalent of $15,805 for a single game. Look, man, that's being like able to walk out onto the field and walk right up to the damn backstop during batting practice, and stand right there behind the catcher and watch Bobby Witt Jr. take batting practice. And they're charging almost $16,000 a ticket for that. Royals, get on this. We need you to make more money. And if you can sell a ticket for $16,000 to one of 82 games at home or 81 games at home, you need to get on that. Letting fans just, obviously they'd have to go through some level of vetting to make sure that you can let them onto the field. But damn, they're willing to pay that kind of jack. Chiefs, you go for it too. There's no reason you can't do that in an NFL game. Hell, you can charge more. There's only 16 NFL games, 8 at home. Elsewhere, Arsenal's FC Elite Diamond Club provides an ultra luxe experience for £30,000 annually, which is $37,939. That's an annual cost, which gives you heated seats, a restaurant, and a bar crafted from onyx. That is insane. And I'm sure you still have to pay for your meal at the restaurant and your drinks at the bar. Anyway, this wave of luxurious amenities is spreading across England, with Brighton and Hove Albion planning an expansion that includes a £40 million or $50.5 million upgrade to its stadium. We're responding to fan demand for elevated experiences, says Russell Wood. He's the head of Brighton and Hove Albion FC's commercial department. Architect Christopher Lee, who has designed multiple Premier League venues, believes this trend toward exclusive clubs within stadiums is the future. The £1 billion Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with its fine dining, on-site brewery, and Europe's longest bar, exemplifies the new standard. Similarly, Manchester City's North Stand Fan Zone, opening next season, will feature high-end restaurants, bars, and even a 400-bed hotel. Hey, Britain, you're welcome. From over here, across the pond, here in America, you're welcome. We just made your sports better. You didn't even know it. You didn't even ask. But you're welcome. With these kinds of perks, maybe Americans will finally embrace the world's most popular sport. Look, lady, we have already embraced the world's most popular sport. Soccer has easily surpassed hockey, has probably surpassed the NBA, and might have surpassed Major League Baseball for popularity in this country. Maybe. Baseball is going to be a tough nut to crack. It's not even close to American football in the NFL. It's not even going to, and it's not going to get close to that for quite some time. But I mean, look, man, Kansas City is the soccer capital of America. We're going to have World Cup games here later next year. By the way, if you'd like, to get tickets to go to the World Cup games, Living Life and Style can definitely help you with that. From luxury packages and everything else that you might need. Oh, hey, look, my camera's all out of what? There we go. That's a little better. It fell off of its stand a little bit. Now it's out of angle. It's all crooked. Trying to fix it. Hold on. There. It's a little better. I'm at a higher angle now. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. World Cup tickets in America. Abby. Was it Abby? Wasn't it Abby? Yeah, Abby. Great article. Really appreciate it from the Rob Report. But let's not act like America hasn't embraced soccer. I mean, for God's sakes, Messi plays in America. Messi plays in America. I'm pretty sure we've embraced soccer. So, and it's soccer. It's not football. I don't give a damn. It's kind of like it's the Gulf of America. Anyway, I'm joking. Y'all be good. All right. That's it, man. I thought these would go longer, but I'm only in at 40 minutes, so it is what it is. We will be back. Well, I was going to try something new today, but I was hoping that this would go longer and take me like right up to the top of the hour, and it didn't. And with that being the case, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end this live stream. I'm going to start a new live stream for the business roundtable. So be on the lookout for that new live stream coming out in 15 minutes or so. And I don't even know who's going to be joining me. I've had a few people tell me that they might. If we don't have anybody join, then I'll have just a real short conversation with myself, and then I'll be hopping off. But if if we do have people join, then we'll go for an hour. We'll see what happens, but we'll know in about, well, not 15, closer to 20 minutes. But that's what we'll figure it out. So, anyways, like, share, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so it lets you know when I'm going live. Yeah, let your friends know. Please visit the sponsor of the show, Living Life and Style Travel. They're at livinglifeandstyle.com. That's livinlifenstyle.com. You can also call them at 816-744-1405. It doesn't matter where you are. They can help you no matter what part of the country, heck, technically even whatever part of the world you might be in. They can help you with your travel needs. Hell, maybe you want to go to one of these new fancy posh stadiums in the UK, or maybe you want to go to the World Cup here in the United States next year. Living Life and Style can help you with all those things. All right. All right. Well, folks, like I said, hit the like, subscribe, share, notification bell, all the things. Hit them. Make sure everybody knows. Let everybody know to watch the show, Middays, Midlife in the Midwest, on the Living Life and Style YouTube channel. You guys be good. Have a great day. We will be back with more travel information tomorrow. And like I said, in about 20 minutes, we will have a fresh live stream. Oh, I hit the shrink button on my chair. We'll have a fresh live stream for the Business Roundtable coming up in about 15 to 20 minutes. Have a great day. We will talk to you guys soon.